Hi everyone, it's Dennis here. So today I'll be showing you guys this amazing scroll animation which you can do in Framer using no code. Isn't that just great? So let's get started. Alright guys, here's a blank canvas. So what we have to do first is to input the nav bar, just copy it and then go to your layers panel and paste it to your desktop. It automatically appears there. So the next step is to put in the hero section here by the text. So copy it and paste it onto the desktop and it appears there. So now let's preview it and see how it looks like. Yeah, it's great. So now the next step is for us to figure out how to create this scroll animation. So there are 3 steps: make it sticky, make the phone animate, and make the text animate. So for us to do that, we need to create a layer whereby the phone and the text are in. So we duplicate the hero section and change it to main container. So the next step is for us to remove all the text within this layer in order for us to be able to put in our phone and our text. So now we have created the layer. We have to duplicate these layers up to 6 or 7 times. I will be explaining why we will be doing that as we go along. For now, let's just duplicate these layers. And if you notice, the layers are not appearing. So what are we going to do is that's because the height was set to fixed. So we have to just set it to fit. And when you set it to fit, everything shows. So now we have to create the 7th layer. And now the reason for this I will explain. Now come, look at this. You can see that the text and image are sticky and animating for a long period of time while you scroll. That's because there are several layers at the back which you are not seeing. So those are the several layers that we are creating. So you won't see them, but they are there. So if you only create one layer, you won't be able to do anything. So that's why we have to create all 7 and set them to viewpoint. You have to set them to viewpoint for you to be able to achieve this. And when you are done doing that, you copy your phone mockup and you paste it. When you paste it, you have to ensure that you put it on absolute, and you have to center it in both ways, horizontally and vertically. And now, for you to be able to work well with this, you have to ensure that your phone mockup can easily be changed. The image within your phone mockup can easily be changed. That is very essential if you want this to work. So when we are done with that, we just see how it looks like. Yeah, it looks great, but it's not sticky. Why is it not sticky? So you have to ensure that your desktop is set to visible, the overflow is set to visible, then the container in which it's in has to be set to visible, and every other container has to be set to visible. When you are certain that everything is set to visible, then you go into the container in which the phone is in, then you set it to sticky. It sometimes behaves like this, but don't worry, just set it to 100 VH and then it comes back to 100 VH. And as you can see, it's sticky. And that's it. We're scrolling all through the other layers that you are not seeing. That's because it's set to sticky and it's just going to be sticky all through those layers. Next up is for us to achieve the scroll animation while we scroll on the mobile. So now to achieve this, we have to turn our phone mockup into a component. When we turn it into a component, we need to create 3 variants. But you could create as much variant as you want depending on how many phones image you want to display. So now I'll fast forward it as I input the images from Unsplash. That's to show you how easy it is to do. Next we go to effects and we go to scroll variant and we'll go to section and view. But as it seems now, we haven't created any scroll IDs. So we have to go and create the scroll ID. So you go click on each layers and go to scroll section and you click on 1 or any number you want to remember as for each section. So you do that for all sections. So let me fast forward there. So now the reason why we do this is so that as soon as it gets to each section, the image changes. I hope you understand. So now, as you can see, we all have all sections. Now this is the interesting part. When it gets to a particular section, it needs to display an image. So the first image has already been shown. So when it gets to section 3, we need it to change to the second image. And when it gets to section 5, we need it to change to the third image. This may seem hard, but it's quite easy when you continue to play around with it. As you can notice, when we scroll to the third section, the image is changed to the second image, and when we scroll to the fifth section, the image is changed to the third image. So that's how you create this effect. So now, next on our list is for us to create the text animation. For me, I'll be copying the text from my hero section and pasting it in the layer. Always paste it in the layer. As you can see in section 1, you see the phone, mobile, and you see the text. So that's how you do it. So now I will be trying to adjust the text to my liking. And I will always tell people to create 3 texts of what you want to display, because we are going to stretch this as long as we can, and so that when we are scrolling, we continually see the text. So that's why I'm creating 3 texts. Minoski Design for Agency 3 times. I hope you understand. So I'm going to be increasing the size so it looks good, and I'll also be reducing the opacity so that it has that nice feel. And I'll be stretching this out. Now you understand what I'm saying by you creating 3 the same text for what you want to display. So I'll be stretching this as far as I can to ensure that it doesn't overlap, so it's in a single file. And when I've done that, I will create a stack. And when I've created a stack, I'll call it text, or you could call it text. Then you duplicate it 4 times. As you can see, you're like, where is the duplication going? That's because the direction is to the left, but now we have to make it up and down. That is vertical. When we're done with that, we give a gap of 20. And then you set the text stack to absolute and ensure that it is center aligned both vertically and horizontally. But as you can clearly see, the mobile mockup is behind the text. So for you to do that, you need to increase the mobile mockup to Z index 2 or more. Now this is like in Figma when you send something back and send something forward. But in Framer, you have to increase the index, and that solves the issue. But now, as you can see, we're having an issue. The text is overflowing. Why is that? The issue arises because a layer has been set to overflow visible. So we need to check everything to see which layer should be hidden and which layer should be visible. So for this, we need to check everything. And now, as you can see, the main container is visible, but it's the layer in which the phone and the text is in that you need to hide. When you set the overflow to hidden, it then hides the text. But now we're having an issue. This text seems cut off, and that issue is because we still have the max width. So when we remove the max width, then that issue is solved, and we have our text looking nice. As you can see, our text is looking nice. Now the next point is to ensure that our text animates. And how do we make it animate? We go to effects. I will go to scroll transform. Now we go to section in view because we already have our sections ID. Now this is an interesting part. So now in this section ID, we say when it is in section 1, we don't want any initial effect, so we set both the opacity and scale to be 1. Then we go to the 2 state. Now when it's in 2 state, we set the y-axis to be 100 because that moves element from right to left, while the y moves element from up to down. So now we go to the second section and say when it's at section 2, it moves to plus 200. So we do that for all other sections. This is to ensure that while you are scrolling, the text keeps moving by 100. Keeps moving by 100. And as you can see, that's what's happening. As you scroll, it moves by 100. Yes, we've achieved that. Now I would like to see when we're done with the scrolling how it looks like. So I just duplicated my hero section and gave it a bottom of 150 pixels so that it looks nice. So I want to see how it looks when we're done scrolling. Wow, it comes to this. So as you can see, we have achieved a lot. Now, how do we make the remaining text animate? So we just copy the effect, the scroll transform effect, and paste it to the third text. Now, that's because we need the first text and the third text to behave the same way. And now, what are we going to do next? We need the second text and the fourth text to behave the same. So we copy that same effect and paste it in the second text. But now what are we going to do? We're going to put a negative sign behind all the X events. So when it is going 100 steps to the right, the second text is going 100 steps to the left. So that's the best way I can explain it. So you copy the effect you've done in the second text and paste it to the fourth text. So that's when you see something like this. As you can see, it's going opposite way, and that's when you create this nice feel. If you like contents like this, do well to follow me for more of such content, because I will be making many more amazing Framer contents. So till I come your way next time, bye for now, guys.